think I learnt a lot about myself as I was getting back on my feet. It kind of changed my perspective and how I look at things, you know, not to take anything for granted because you don't know what can happen to you tomorrow. And as well to cherish the people you have around you because things can change in an instant. I was at work and all of a sudden I felt really weak, felt like I was going to be sick. I just had this fever and I was hot, sweaty. My friend, he drove me home. From probably about midnight I was just really restless. And then it got to about 3 a.m. My hands had felt really cold. I didn't really have much sensation on my hands, so I decided I'm going to get up and I'm going to have a hot shower. And as soon as I got into the bathroom and I had taken my shirt off, there was this big purple rash across my chest and up my arms. And that's when I was like, you know, something's not quite right here.
And when I woke up and the bathroom light was on, I thought, that's weird. So I got up and went through to him, and he said he'd been in and out of the shower and showed me his hands, and like it was really white, and you just said it was so cold you couldn't warm it up.
Yeah.
And so I just said to him, go back to bed, you'll be right in the morning. And so he went back to bed. I went into our room, and I don't know why, but I looked up Healthline, and so I rang them and went through a range of things, and they said to me, you need to go and get a clear glass and roll it over the marks on his arms. And so I went and got the glass, and I said, what's happening? What am I supposed to see? Because nothing's changing. And she said, you need to put the phone down. I'm going to ring the ambulance now because your son's seriously ill. And she said, just get him dressed and ready to be transported to hospital. And so they came, they took one look at him and looked at his rash, and they just said, we don't need to know anymore. I think they took him into HDU, and all of a sudden they were cutting his clothes off, and his body had started to shut down, his organs had started to fail. And then someone came out to me and said, have you got family here? And I said, no, my husband and my daughters are at home. And the nurse said, I think you need to ring them. They need to come to the hospital now. And that's when I knew that that he was really sick. They said that that's what they suspected, is that he had meningitis. And then he was moved into ICU for 4 days. It has such an overwhelming impact on your body top to toe.
At my lowest weight, I was at 46
kilos. Yeah, as an 18-year-old.
And I was skin and bone.
We had no strength in your legs, you had to learn to walk again.
That was another thing.
Once you were back in the ward.
Yeah.
So Nick had septicemia, so it was like he had frostbite. Because they had to remove his fingers, they had to then do an operation, and they removed the dead tissue from the fingers that were affected, and then they put that into his tummy, and it helps the skin regrow and keeps the blood flow to his fingers. And so that required 2 major surgeries.
I think it was, 4 weeks on one side and then 3 on the other.
And so then he had subsequent surgeries to then tidy his fingers up. Healthline was our lifesaver. So if we hadn't phoned them, I would have told Nick to go back to bed, and I'll take you to the doctor in the morning. Well, the morning mightn't have happened if I hadn't rung Healthline. The overriding thing for me is if you've got a young person in your family, then it doesn't matter whether they're going to university or going flatting or still at home. The vaccination is so important. Nick was living at home, so it doesn't matter where you are, you're not immune.
You always kind of know inside yourself when something's not right. And it's that same kind of feeling that I had. And it's kind of trusting your gut and reaching out and letting someone know that you're not feeling that well. There's a lot of, he'll be right, I'll just sleep it off. But with something like meningitis, you go to sleep it off, you might not wake up the next morning.